Crank it up! The Electric Scooter Podcast. Episode Lucky 13. Lucky? What am I talking about? This episode is epic! And I mean literally epic. We're going to talk to Zero to Epic, who is going to cross these continental United States from Boston, Massachusetts to Oregon on what? A scooter! Zero to Epic. Now, I'm a podcaster, not a YouTuber, but I do occasionally make YouTube videos. I just created a Facebook page for the Electric Scooter Podcast. By the time you hear this, I will have linked the video Zero to Epic to the Facebook page. Or alternatively, you can always go to the Dagwood Streets, your humble host's YouTube channel, and see Zero to Epic cruise on a Wolf Warrior through Red Rock Canyon near Las Vegas, Nevada, where we wound up in the small town of Blue Diamond and had a casual conversation that I just so happened to capture on audio. So don't be surprised if you hear birds twittering, waitresses juggling plates, the occasional helicopter flying over. Don't you dare touch that dial, because it's certain to be epic. 3,365 miles on electric scooters. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I said scooters because obviously you're not going to cross a continent on one scooter when you're getting 37 to 42 or whatever it is miles per charge on a Wolf Warrior. He's got a couple other ones, but his main ride's going to be the Wolf Warrior. What a logistics nightmare. Better you than me, my brother. Take a listen to this conversation. Okay, we're here in Blue Diamond, Nevada with Zero to Epic, who, as we all know, is getting ready to journey from Boston, Massachusetts to Newport, Oregon. And the first thing I want to ask you, when we do the studio podcast version, we'll get into the details of the trip and the route and your training. There's just a million questions to ask regarding that. But today we just had some fun, and we went through Red Rock Canyon, and we're now in Blue Diamond on location at a restaurant called Cottonwood Station. The first thing I want to ask you, and it's because I love the title, the moniker, whatever you want to call it, branding of Zero to Epic. That is such a fantastic name because it sounds familiar, kind of like you've heard before Zero to Hero, and that has a connotation to it, but Zero to Epic is like pushing it a little further, whereas Zero to Hero kind of sounds like I was a nobody, but now I'm somebody. Zero to Epic sounds like, it doesn't sound like you started off as a nobody, it sounds like you're just pushing the limits. How did you come across that title or name or branding?
Yeah, I thought about it, and of course we're going to go more into detail of why the trip and how it came about. But the trip really started at the end of last year, 2020, and the reason was my dad was an environmentalist in Brazil. And he spent his life dedicated to the preservation of the environment. And when he passed away in November of 2020, I started thinking about my own legacy and what I had done for the environment, for the planet. And my answers to myself were quite disappointing. I had not done a whole lot. In fact, I barely recycled at the time. So I decided at that moment that I wanted to do better. I wanted to be better, and I wanted to do something big. So I literally was, when it comes to environmental protection, a zero. And I needed to change that. And I didn't want to just be good. I wanted to be epic. So that was the first time I thought about, let's stop being a zero, let's become epic. So zero to epic came about. And of course, when you come up with, a moniker, the first thing you start looking at is it available online, right? Will there be a website URL available? And it was. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to register this, Zero to Epic. You go on Facebook. Is the username Zero to Epic available? Yes, it is. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm the first one to think of this moniker, but I'll take it. So it was available everywhere. Instagram, anywhere you went, YouTube. So I adopted it as Zero to Epic, and it fit perfectly with what I wanted to do. And once I decided on the trip and what kind of cause I was going to promote, which, like I said, a few months ago, I had no cause I even promoted. I wasn't passionate about anything regarding the environment. So I picked electric vehicles as a cause. And then zero emission.
That's what I was going to say. You have the connotation.
So I was like, wait a minute, So what if I use Zero to Epic in a different way and say, you know what? How about zero emission epic adventures? So I was like, yeah, that's kind of a cool little slogan.
Yeah.
And whether people know that or not, the Zero to Epic is kind of catchy.
Yeah.
But it's like, when it comes to electric vehicles, that's exactly what it is. Let's do zero emission vehicles and an epic trip.
Yeah.
Let's cross the country on an electric scooter.
Yeah, and zero kind of has that connotation. I think there's a motorcycle company.
There is.
That does zero. There are scooters. That's a brand. I don't know if it's a company, Zero.
It is, yes. As a matter of fact, it's the same company that also now makes the VSET line. They make zeros.
Oh, that is Zero.
VSETs, yeah.
Okay. And also, Zero to Epic kind of reminds me of we're starting here at a certain starting point in our society of trying to think green, and you're saying you want to take it from where it is now to the epic level. And one way to do that and bring attention to it is the trip that you're about to make, which makes you kind of a scooter star, or almost like a superhero. I was watching you. I know you'll laugh at it, but when I was watching your interview with the electric scooter guide, you're wearing the green and white. I was like, this guy looks like a real life actual superhero.
Yeah, I've been called a bunch of different things. I've been called the Forrest Gump of electric scooting, the Evel Knievel of electric scooting, and somebody the other day likened me to the Amelia Earhart of electric scooting, although her ending was not what I hoped for myself.
You might disappear in Nebraska. And
I don't want to be.
Zero to Epic. You know the Amelia Earhart of scooters?
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to be her in that regard. But yeah, it's the trip. I decided on the trip a little over 2 months ago, and it's really taken on a life of its own. And there wasn't really anybody promoting the cause as much as I thought there would be. So it's all coming together really nicely, and I've really found a passion for the cause because, as I said earlier, I really didn't have a cause, and I wanted to do something better for the environment. But since I've adopted what I actually call micromobiles, and I'll get into that term in a little bit. I've learned a lot of data and a lot about, the state of cities and traffic and pollution and noise and how electric scooters can alleviate some of that. So it's a topic that needs to be addressed. Cities need to be addressed. There needs to be, there need to be laws even with regards to the ride-sharing scooters, and there's issues and problems with that, and I don't necessarily agree with the way they're going about it.
Right. Own your own scooter, I think, is a better idea than rental and dropping them off.
There need to be laws and regulations, but all the pioneers are the same way, right? There are a bunch of outlaws that
struggle at first, and then over time it develops.
And things fall into place. But cities really need to create bike lanes, and they need to work on making what I call micromobiles a part of commuting because cars will not move in a decade. People continue to move into cities, and especially the major urban centers keep getting more and more crowded.
You can't keep going the way we are.
It's unsustainable.
It is.
So you need to have different modes of transportation, and I think it will be electric scooters, e-bikes, regular bicycles, EUCs, electric skateboards. All of those are going to play a major part in alleviating some of the traffic and pollution and noise. But the cities need to get on board with that and make it happen and make it a part of commuting and make it safe. It's a long road, but one that I've really taken to heart. And the whole point of the trip is making sure people understand what's going on and what's about to happen, because cities can't just ignore. Our cities have been built for cars,
right?
They were not built for bicycles. They were not built for scooters. They were built for cars, and now we're about to enter a pandemic of its own when it comes to traffic, which is already happening, and not just in the United States, but major cities worldwide have this issue. In Europe, they're a little bit farther than us when it comes to having bicycle lanes and being more friendly to the environment. The United States is a little bit behind, but I plan on, talking about it, making it loud and heard, and hopefully creating some change.
Well, one of the things that fascinates me about your trip, I mean, genuinely just piques my interest, is I believe that society, I see this in front of me, is at a tipping point right now. When I looked for the electric scooter podcast, same thing, like you were looking for Zero to Epic, there wasn't one. I was like, are you kidding me? But then you have shows, you have the electric scooter guide, and you have Ben Fox doing entertaining scooter videos. It seems like right now we're just at that tipping point to where there is interest building, but there isn't enough happening. And by you doing your trip, you are going to focus attention on the issue. And these kids now who are in college that are going to be civic planners will have it in their head. That's why I love so much what you are doing and what you're about to do. Is it's going to be in their head that when they're planning cities that they're going to incorporate, whether it's bike trails, multi-use for scooters and electric bikes and regular bicycles, whatever it happens to be, any type of PEV. By you doing what you're doing and raising awareness, you're pushing society forward. And I heard you quote, I don't remember exactly what the fact was. Is it 50% of trips by car are under 3 miles or something?
That is correct. There's a fact in the United States, Department of Transportation, that's their data. 50% of all car trips in the U.S. are 3 miles or less. Half of all traffic, Dagwood, is 3 miles or less. We don't have to take a car to go to the coffee shop that's half a mile away, a mile away.
And it's not fun.
No, it's not fun. We haven't even gotten started to the fun part of scooters.
That's why I got into it.
We're talking about saving the planet and saving the world, and that's still having fun on top of it. But when I learned that piece of data, it shifted everything. I said, okay, and now we're on to something, right? This has to be done. There's no need to have an SUV to transport one person, right? And then we start getting into, okay, that SUV or that car needs parking, right? And we live in Las Vegas. Every resort that gets built, you need to build a parking garage for that resort. That's land that could be used for a million other purposes that are much better than a parking garage. And the majority of those parking spots sit empty, right? So
how about a nice garden for people when they take a break?
A park or a garden or anything, a place for people to live. I mean, you name it. Anything is better than a parking garage, unless you own a car and you need parking. But there is a better way. And the cities, it's coming, whether they want it or not. The problem is going to be there. So I think we're at, like you said, at a tipping point where it has to happen. And the planners of these cities, they have to take that into consideration. You can't just take a city and decide, okay, now we're going to use the same streets and the same buildings and just put a little bike lane and all will be well. No, there's going to have to be some major structural change, but it's possible, and it's coming, and it has to be done, and we're already starting to see it. Unfortunately, not in the United States for a variety of reasons, but that's what the trip is about.
I heard Israel is big. Philippines, I don't know if the civic planners have caught up to it, but it's just a huge storm of people that are going gonzo over scooters, and they just love scooters. And I always say on the Electric Scooter podcast, the reason I got into it was just for fun. And that 3-mile commute that you're talking about, would you rather be in an office full of people who had a hassle parking their car, and they're in some parking garage, they're breathing carbon monoxide, and they had to go bumper to bumper to get there, and when they get to work, that's the mood you're presented with by your coworkers? Or somebody who stepped on a scooter and just was scooting through traffic with a big old smile on their face and parked it, and there they are sitting in the cubicle next to you, and the ones that rode in on scooters are in a good and happy mood.
We talk about going off-roading, right, and doing all these fun things off-road. But scooters, really, let's talk about realistically. They are a first mile, last mile mode of transportation. That's what the majority of people are going to use them. And when we talk about commuting, that's where they'll be used, right? So here's what happens today. Cities that have public transportation, trains, subways, buses, a person says, you know what, I could take the train or the subway to work, but then I'm still 2 miles away from my office. You know what? I'll just take my car. I don't want to walk 2 miles. It's going to take me too long. I'm going to be sweaty. It'll be raining, whatever. For some reason, then they take a car. So that's a car that may have been avoided. Scooters, you pick them up, ride them to the train station, get on the train, listen to your music, read your book, relax, get to your destination, take your scooter out.
Prepare your mind for the grind that you're about to go through the next 8 hours. Go through your planner, go through your phone and see, I got this meeting at this time, I got this stuff going on.
No need to be stressed in traffic.
Instead of having a Karen yell at you because you got too close to her car.
Exactly. And then you get to your destination, get on your scooter, ride the 2 miles, you're enjoying yourself, wind is in your face, you can still be listening to your music or whatever. You get to work, pick up your scooter, fold it, put it next to your desk. Boom, start your day, end of the day, same thing. That's a car off the road. You don't need to worry about parking. You don't need to pay for expensive parking like in Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, where you pay, $45 a day for parking.
Yeah, that's insane.
There are such better ways, and it's the only way to go, Dagwood. I mean, that's what needs to get done. Not just would be nice, it's what has to happen. So this trip and all the shows that I'm on, your podcast, TV stations, I'm just going to keep beating that drum, and change will come, and it's going to be a better world, because it has to be. It can't continue this way.
You know that Kia, I think it's next year, 2022, is coming out with a production line car that comes with a scooter. The scooter is in the trunk. It's mounted there. It has a place where it's designed to hold that scooter. And there's a plug that's connected to the battery of the car. So while you're driving, your alternator is charging that scooter, and you get to your 1 mile, your last mile solution or whatever, and you park your car in that place that's a mile or whatever from your work, pull your scooter out, drive to work, and then back to your car again. It's coming from the factory like that.
Like, imagine Las Vegas trip, right? There's so much traffic. You go there on the weekends or at night, it's just bumper to bumper traffic. What if you could just have a parking lot just outside of the strip? Yeah. Just like that. You park your car outside, make it free, and then people just ride their scooters from resort to resort.
Instead of having the choked one area where everybody's just...
And it takes an hour to go, 3 miles.
Right.
There are so many better ways.
Zero to X. I agree. There's got to be a better way than what we're doing right now. Sorry for interrupting the conversation, but I'd just like to bring it to your attention that the band you're hearing in the background is The Conspiracy. Thanks to Paul Somerville of the Electric Scooter Guy. 0 to epic. Now, back to our conversation. Blue Diamond, Nevada. Today, we met at the Dunkin' Donuts, your idea, which, have you been to the East Coast? Have you spent much time?
I have spent some time, yes.
Dunkin' Donuts are everywhere on the East Coast. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe there were so many of them. So I kind of laughed when you said, let's meet at the Dunkin' Donut. But it was a perfect place. You leave the parking lot, and then you're at the entrance to Red Rock Canyon. And then we went to the National Park. Correct. And that was beautiful. The roads are smooth, well-kept, beautiful canyons on both sides. And you showed me a couple areas I hadn't seen because you said you live nearby, right?
Yeah, I live right by it. As a matter of fact, I do that loop. You know, it's the Red Rock Loop, we call it, and it's 13 miles long. It's just beautiful scenery everywhere. The road just goes one way. You can't go and then come back. You enter one way. You have to drive or ride or walk or run or whatever you want to do for 13 miles, and you come out the other side. But I do it about spring, summer, fall. I do it about 3 times a week on either my scooter, my bicycle, or my motorcycle.
And they don't care. You can pull up on a scooter, bicycle, anything, and they'll let you in. You go to the gate.
I have a yearly membership to all the national parks, which I love.
How much is that?
It's $80.
Okay.
For the year, and you
can
go
the entire country.
You can go to Zion, you can go to Yellowstone, as long as it's a national park. And Red Rock is actually part of that system. So, I just love. It's so relaxing, and literally for you guys that are not in Las Vegas, it's 20 minutes driving from the Las Vegas Strip. So if you make it to the Strip and make it to one of the hotels, 20 minutes you're in Red Rock, and it's I'm going to say 99.9 of tourists that come to Las Vegas don't even know it exists, and it's the most scenic place in town. And I actually moved. My wife and I bought a house close to Red Rock just because we love it so much. Really? And the whole area is just amazing. So I'm so happy that we were able to get out there today and do some scooter riding, which I had never seen before. We may be the pioneers of scootering through Red Rock, and none of the rangers stopped us. So we were, at least for today, we're good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like the area where you live, the way you described it, because I think it's higher elevation, right? Which means you're going to be a little cooler, maybe 3-4 degrees cooler than what the Strip is.
It is. I'm going to say about 5 degrees cooler. From the Strip.
Wow.
Yeah, but at the same time,
that's a big deal when it's like 112.
Yeah,
and you're 5 degrees.
112 and 107 is
when you get up there, the difference between 115 and 120 or 115 and 110 is massive.
But on the same token, what are we now in the middle of March? It was snowing at my house a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So whenever it does snow in Las Vegas, which is rare, but there will be snow at my house. But it's a little bit cooler. But most importantly, it's outside of all the hustle and bustle, and people think we live in Las Vegas. We live on the Strip somewhere, which is far from the truth. There are some amazing suburbs, and we're happy to live near Red Rock, and it's isolated, and I like it a lot.
People may not know that we have probably a solid 3 months of 65 to 75. Like right now, this is awesome. It's beautiful, perfectly clear skies. It's good air quality index. I don't know what the AQI was. It looks like, I don't know. I checked it on my phone. It was like 40 to 50 or something, which is moderate to good. And we're here. We started at the mouth of Red Rock Canyon, and we did the whole national park, and now we're here in Blue Diamond. And you've been here a few times, you said.
That's another reason I live on this side of town. It's just so beautiful, and Blue Diamond is this tiny little city. I don't know, Dagwood, I'm going to guess 200-300 people live here. It's like being on the countryside in some little town. I mean, it has like one restaurant, something that they call a gas station, but I don't even think it works.
I don't know. I saw a car that was pulled up to it. I don't know if they were
trying
pumping
to get gas. Maybe, I don't know. But it looks like a vintage gas station.
Yeah.
But they have this quaint little place that we're at, Cottonwood Station, and I love coming here. I just love driving through the town. It's all, custom homes because all these lots are, have been bought, I don't know, decades ago by these people. So every house is different in their own style, and it's just so quaint, and I enjoy it.
The skies are bright blue right now. The birds are tweeting. It's just a beautiful area. They have wild horses or burros or both?
They have burros, yeah.
Just burros.
Every other time I come here, there's burros walking the streets, and these are wild burros. Nobody owns them, and they're just walking. You drive through town, and there's just burros walking. How
about deer? I thought I saw deer here one time, like 3 or 4 of them.
I've never seen deer. I have seen coyotes.
Oh.
Quite a few, actually. By our house, actually, we see coyotes, and there's some mountain lions.
Oh, no.
Yes, that are also roaming these days. There's one in particular. It hasn't been caught, but apparently it's roaming through my neighborhood. And
really?
I don't know. That's.
Do you have pets?
I have cats, and I have one cat that's an outdoor cat.
Oh, no.
And we've been living there for 2 years now, and every night she goes out. She goes out at about 11 at night, comes back at 8 in the morning, like clockwork.
Oh.
And every night we think it's the last time we're going to see her.
Yeah, because they're on a coyote's diet, right? They're
for
on the
2
menu.
years. We've been there for over 2 years, so that's, about 800 days that she's made it out.
wow.
And if she survived this long with all the coyotes walking
I
around.
wonder what she's doing, man. Is she heading down to Glitter Gulch and hitting the slot machines? The Electric Scooter Podcast. It's happening now. So just to talk a little bit about the area, we did mention Blue Diamond, a nice, quaint little town to come and visit. The area was originally called Cottonwood or Cottonwood Springs because a little stream runs through here. And then a company called Blue Diamond Gypsum was established, and they changed the name of the town to Blue Diamond. But you were telling me some of the other areas around here, there's the horse ranch or a place where you can rent horses for kids?
Yeah, adults too. You can just go horseback riding.
Wow.
It's just about, I'm going to say, 5-10 minutes from here. It's pretty interesting. I mean, the first time you come to this part of town, just outside of Las Vegas, you think you're like in cowboy country.
It's a different world.
Yeah, it is a different world. But you can ride horses. There's, Spring Mountain Ranch Park or something like that, which is another place where they have open door plays during summer. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's called Super Summer Theater, and they put on plays, and it's outdoors in this beautiful outdoor stage.
Where is it? Which side of the canyon is it?
It is actually right there.
Okay.
Going in that direction. Of course, you guys listening have no idea which direction we're talking about, so just take our word for it that it's in that
Not
direction.
Not from the south like the Los Angeles side, but more from the
If you're coming from the
Red
Las
Rock.
Vegas Strip side, it's closer to the Strip than Blue
Closer to
Diamond.
the
So you're
Strip.
going to pass Spring Mountain. But yeah, they have plays, and they have about, I'm going to say, 4 different plays that run for a couple weeks each, and you bring your own little blanket. Everybody sits on
outdoor
It's
seating.
outdoor seating. Yeah,
Oh, that is
there's no
awesome.
reserved seating.
You can have a picnic.
You just buy tickets, bring your food, your cooler. Family, it's all family plays for children, and everybody just sits there on their towels, blankets, whatever, and watches plays. And then the play starts as soon as the sun goes down. So there is no time. Is when whatever sunset is that particular day. You look at the news, sunset, but of course summer, so you have a pretty good idea when it is. But they say, 7:57 p.m. is sunset. 7:57, the play will start.
Wow, I'm going to put that on my list.
Please do. Of course, with COVID, they canceled it last year, but
it's outdoor.
It's out still, but there's social distancing. And last year, COVID was just starting, so they shut down everything. But hopefully this year. But if not this year, still because of COVID, next year, 22, hopefully they'll bring it back. And you should definitely take the wife and check it out.
I drive by the horse ranch all the time. I just see it and I think, oh, that'd be a nice place to stop in one time. And we watched a movie from 2017. I'll have to look this up and maybe add it to the podcast later. But it was a really good movie and very, very local, very Red Rock centric. And I could tell they filmed part of it at Bonnie Springs, but the majority of it was right there at that ranch. And it wasn't like they were using the set to describe something else somewhere else. It was about a place that has horses, and kids and adults can come and ride horses. And there was a cagey old ornery cowboy who was an alcoholic who went to work there, and drama ensues. But it was a good movie.
Let me interrupt you before you move on from that place. If you go into that horse place and you walk in there, you can actually pet the horses and it's quite fun. But there are some amazing hiking trails back there. They let you in and you just walk right through it, and then you end up in these mountains, and you can hike up these places. It's incredible. The scenery is amazing. I've taken my kids there, and I recommend it. It's not just horses. You can actually walk through there, and a lot of hikers make their way through that place. Yeah, a lot to see here, you know. People think Las Vegas is only gambling and casinos, but so much more going on.
If you're coming to visit this area, Red Rock, Las Vegas, which if you're coming to Las Vegas, you ought to come to Red Rock, right? When you come to Las Vegas, drag your butt out of the casino once in a while, get some fresh air in your lungs, and take a little drive, because you said it's like 20 minutes. Yeah. Even if you just drive by and look out the window, and if you got kids, stop by, get something to eat, take the kids for a little horse ride. There's another place we didn't mention, Calico Basin.
That is correct. That's another beautiful area, lots of hiking. I also ride my scooter through there. Also, we're seeing. Actually, it's even closer to Dunkin' Donuts. That's only like 3 minutes
that's
from
like the
from
first
Dunkin'.
place. Yeah,
that's the first place.
Yeah, get your stomach full of donuts and then hop on your scooter. What I love about that place, well, they have bathrooms and a big wide open parking lot. That's good, but they have this raised wooden trail that even if you're not in the prime of your life, if you're getting on in years or you got a bum leg or something, I think you can still do this. Just get up on the trail, read the little signs. They talk about nature. And there's this amazing lawn that's evergreen, because there are springs that run underneath the dirt, and it looks like a manicured, it looks like it looks like man has come in there and made this place beautiful, but it's 100% natural.
Yeah, and you walk on this type of catwalk, which you mentioned wood. It used to be wood. They just replaced it. Now it's this plastic material that looks like wood.
Oh, and it lasts forever. I actually like that forever. Stuff. If you walk that winding faux wood path up to the end, you can see actually the water bubbling out of the ground.
No, it's incredible. And here's one thing that they did not think about, though. Every time you walk on this faux wood plastic thing, if you touch somebody that's with you, you'll shock them.
Really?
Yes. And my daughters think it's the funniest thing. They just take 2 steps, shock me. 2 steps, shock me. And there's no fixing that. I don't know who built that. Maybe it's like it was the first time they put something like that in. So walk, but do not touch your significant other.
They also have signs there that say, here's the type of birds that frequent here, and here's the flora and the fauna, and here's the history.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like little squirrels and these road runners and rabbits running around, all wild. It's pretty cool. Children love it. If you have kids, you definitely have to go there.
Get out of Vegas, get out of the casino, breathe some fresh air. And if you're a person who loses a lot of money, it could actually be profitable to you. That's time that you're not tossing your cash into a one-armed bandit, right?
Well, if you schedule a 3-day trip, to Las Vegas to gamble after 2 days, you most likely be out of money, so you have some time to kill on the 3rd day.
Right. Instead of telling your significant other, well, I don't know what to do, we're out of money, you can just say, hey, I know you're tired of gambling, honey, so let's take a side trip, to cover your losses. there you have it. Zero to Epic. And we'll be hearing a lot more from him. You know, at the Electric Scooter Podcast, we don't just give you statistics and numbers. We're all about casual conversation and issues that are related to scooters. You can bet we're going to get more details on scooters and the progress of his trip, because we're going to stay in close communication with Zero to Epic. Thanks for listening. Keep the shiny side up and the dirty side down.